Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hivemind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Democrat elitism, the liberal elite, a term that has been coined, and I'd say quite accurately. And honestly, it's probably exactly what lost Hillary Clinton the election in 2020. You think she's learned something about it? No. You think that she's come to terms with the fact that she lost fair and square to President Donald Trump? No, of course not. She's still here. She's still out here, sucking up as much media attention as she possibly can, still giving her 2 cents whenever it doesn't matter. You never hear Hillary Clinton coming out talking about something important, making a good point, trying to bring people together. The only time Hillary Clinton ever comes out into the media, it's to rag on Donald Trump or to say something absolutely despicable that just proves the point that she's a sore loser and she still hasn't come to terms with reality. And yep, she's back once again, folks, proving that even though she regrets calling you a basket of deplorables, just because on surface level she regretted it, doesn't mean that she didn't mean it. She 100% meant it. And so we gotta expose the notion of liberal elitism, and that's exactly what we're gonna do on this video. But before we get into any of it, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm. And with that out of the way, let's roll the tape. Alright, so before we get into Hillary Clinton, I gotta give you guys the backstory. Once again, liberals, and more specifically this time, Biden campaign managers, still establishment Democrat types, showing they are the side of unity, showing that they are the tolerant left that we've grown to know and love over the last couple years. Check out this story right here from The Hill. Biden campaign manager calls GOP lawmakers a bunch of effers. President-elect Joe Biden's incoming deputy chief of staff called GOP lawmakers a bunch of effers and said Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Republican of Kentucky, is terrible, but expressed optimism that the new administration could still work with Republicans to pass legislation. In a new interview with Glamour, Jen O'Malley Dillon, who also served as Biden's campaign manager, defended Biden from criticism from the left over his insistence that Republicans would warm to the idea of working with him once President Trump leaves office. The president-elect was able to connect with people over this sense of unity. Unity. In the primary, people would mock him. Like, you think you can work with Republicans? Question mark. I'm not saying they're not a bunch of effers. Mitch McConnell is terrible, but this sense that you couldn't wish for that, you couldn't wish for this bipartisan ideal, he rejected that from the start to finish. He set out with this idea that unity was possible, that together we are stronger, that we as a country need healing, and our politics needs that too. And of course, a ridiculous statement followed up almost immediately with top Biden aide walks back expletive description of Republicans. I used some words that I probably could have chosen better. No, she used the words that she meant. Once again, Democrats showing exactly who they are. They don't mean unity. They mean conformity. They mean do as I say, you deplorable, bigoted Republican. That's what they mean. And of course, who do you think leaped to her defense? Well, it's none other than Mrs. Unity herself, Hillary Clinton. We've got this from Hannity.com. She's back! Exclamation mark. Hillary defends top Biden staffer that labeled Republicans a bunch of effers. And here's the tweet. People who stood by Donald Trump for the last 4 years are now claiming to be offended that a Democratic campaign manager used a curse word? I don't think so. Thanks, Hillary, once again for your absolutely incredible political discourse. Yes, people are very angry that she used a curse word. No, people are merely pointing out the fact that you and people like you, like this campaign manager, are absolute hypocrites and some of the most condescending people of all time. You claim to talk about unity, you talk about tolerance when being the most intolerant, divisive people on the planet. Hillary Clinton is the exact same as this woman. During the campaign season, they talk about being the president for all people. What do they really think about you? Well, Hillary Clinton said the quiet out loud during the last election season and called you a basket of deplorables. It's the same thing, and Biden feels the same way. And speaking of campaigning on one thing, feeling another, let's talk about who? Barack Obama. Barack Obama literally campaigned on that exact notion that there isn't a Republican America and a Democrat American. There's no Republicans and Democrats. He will be the president for Americans, for all Americans. Well, seems as though he's coming out with a little bit of a more partisan tune as of late. Check this out.
The Republican Party is the minority party in this country. The only reason that it doesn't look like they're the minority party is because of structures like the U.S. Senate and the Electoral College that don't render them the majority party. The truth of the matter is that 60% of the people are occupying what I would consider a more reality-based universe.
Well, thanks, Obama. Thanks for once again saying the quiet part out loud, proving that you're a partisan hack and have been from the start, regardless of the rhetoric, the fancy schmoozing words that you used when trying to get elected. Obama and Hillary, it's the same thing. Liberal elites who believe that a majority, aka the big cities, should rule your life, and that everyone else who doesn't vote blue, like the people of Los Angeles, New York, Detroit, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Boston, all of the other folk who vote Republican down the line, are just a bunch of backwards people who don't deserve representation within government. Folks, you better wake up. They want to end the filibuster, expand the Senate to a Democrat majority, stack the Supreme Court, and of course abolish the Electoral College. The liberal elitists who look down on you, call you a bunch of effers, deplorable, backwards, flyover state folk. They want to rule you. They don't want to include your voice in democracy. They want to rule you from the coastal metropolises in the interest of the billionaire class. That's what it's about, folks. Wake up. It's a constant assault on anybody with different views. We've got this from the post-millennial. MSNBC host calls Amy Coney Barrett a right-wing lunatic. Yep, this is political discourse that is accepted within the Democrat elitist circle. And while it's accepted, it's unacceptable. They're absolute hypocrites with complete contempt for you, your value system, everything you believe in, and everything that you are. There's no unity under a Joe Biden presidency, just like there was no unity under a Barack Obama presidency. All there is more power, more government, more control, and more of the authoritarian leftism that we've seen over the last couple years develop and metastasize. That's what it's all about, folks. They're liars and hypocrites. And since we were just talking about Obama, we're talking about liars and hypocrites. I just need an excuse to play this clip because once again, it's Joe Biden contradicting pretty much everything he's said in the most recent election just a couple years ago. I'm not going to give you guys context. We'll just play the clip and you'll understand exactly what's going on here. Here's Joe Biden back in 2007.
Want to actually have an impact. Now, the second piece you're talking about, which is what people usually mean by election reform, how are you going to keep it from us being able to be in a position where you can manipulate the machines, manipulate the records? The one way to do that is, I think we should pass a federal law mandating that the same machines with paper trails be mandatory for every federal election. That will be a multi-billion-dollar bill for the states because the states will have to make a choice then. They will have to make a choice whether or not they have two machines. We can't mandate, as you know, state elections. We can't tell the state of Delaware or Ohio or Texas what machines and what method they use to vote in their state elections, but we can do it federally. So in a nutshell, I think we should be mandating that we have a paper ballot with a standardized machine, a standardized requirement.
Yep, the Democrats are some of the most snaky, dishonest, flip-flopping politicians out there, period. Not to say it doesn't exist on the conservative side, because of course it does, but man, is it just out in the open and absolutely beyond what you could possibly imagine in terms of hypocrisy on the Democrats' side. It's incredible, honestly. It's incredible that they can just get away with this stuff. You know, Hillary Clinton, the exact same thing. She never got over the 2016 election. She was the core, the nucleus to the most divisive political times ever. It wasn't Donald Trump. Don't you ever think it was Donald Trump, because it wasn't. Yeah, sure, he's brash, he can be a doofus, he can be a jerk, we get it, but the divisive nature came from Hillary Clinton, who refused to accept the results and launch investigation, peddled fake stories, and then they have the audacity to label you as attacking democracy for just asking questions in the year 2020. It's a complete joke. Every single thing they fight for when it's politically expedient, you can just go back a couple years, not even that long, and find them arguing the exact opposite end when it fits their fancy. I'm sick of it. You should be sick of it too. And Washington needs to be held accountable. People need to wake up. But that's what I got for you. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to leave a like, a comment, subscribe, share the video as much as possible. We are still shadow banned by the YouTube algorithm, hidden from non-subscribed viewers. So please subscribe and share the video. Make sure you have notifications enabled. It's the best thing that you guys could do to support us here. Now I gotta get back to work because of course there's a whole load of hypocrisy that must be exposed on a daily basis. It's a daily gig. I'm gonna get to that. I want to thank you for watching and I'll see you on the next one.